very good evening to you. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Y254 TV. Karibu sana. Usishangae uko wapi, by the way. This is Power Talk. I am your host, Cheryl Blessing. And today, na represent Team Kenya. Like, Chan, maybe tumetolewa, but we did so well. So I'm here to represent. And I'm here to talk about football. Because it's the season where we've all been focusing on Chan, we are focusing on the Premier League right now. Na kuna so much that's happening in terms of football. Lenye saa ingine, sisi kama madem atuelewi wanaume wanapendea football nini. Ama kuna madem wenye wanapenda and some of us don't really understand. So particularly me, I'm trying to understand football, the spirit of football. I want to understand the social implications, venye ina spark friendships, how you interact with your relationships, how it brings people together, how sometimes it can even cause people to fight because either wako kwa teams different and all that. I want us to understand football, the sports, and what goes on around the game in terms of our social relations. So this evening I'm joined by two amazing guests. Wananipate some insight. So first, wacha nianze na the expert. We have Peter Areri, who is a sports anchor hapa KBC. How are you doing?
Niko poa.
Yeah.
I'm doing amazing.
Leo uko ready kutuambia hapa?
Yeah, I'm ready to share everything about football.
Not everything, maybe.
And
just
insight,
enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tunaweza kapa for like 10 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Right next to Peter, we have Shazi Nyawira, who is also a journalist and a content creator. Ukoje Shazi? Wewe unajua maneno mabaya ya futa? Tuko hapa tuko same team. Tuna learn tukimove.
Tuta learn from Peter.
Peter ndio expert leo.
Okay.
Yeye ndo mwenye tuna consult to just fact check everything. But I want to hear from you as well as we continue with this conversation because football is such a major thing. Right now najua kuna league enye iko on. You have your European teams that you've been supporting in Kenya. We still have Chan, it's still ongoing. Yeah. We're waiting to see who's going to take the crown, the trophy home. Na nani atakuwa na title this year. Kenya, we did well. We did really well. Unfortunately, bado hatujaenda. So we want to just recognize the effort. And I want to talk about football because football, it has a lot of influence in the world. Kutoka kwa the economy, the terms of the income that it generates, the games alone, the social influence. Because I feel like ukionanga watu kwa stadium, I've been noticing when you look at the clips of people in stadiums, it's crazy. The fans are just going crazy, wako happy, it brings people together. I want us to talk about the game and to truly understand what goes on throughout the game. Sasa go on our platforms at Y254 across all socials and let me know, do you think dem yako ama chali yako akiwa kwa rival team or even your friends if they're on a rival team, do you think it is grounds for you to say no, I'm not going to be friends, or does it foster healthy rivalry? What do you think about that? Tell me about the sports. Which teams do you support? Go to our platform Saizi. Which European teams do you support? Saizi kwa the league. And do you think, particularly in a relationship, let me focus on a relationship. If both of you are on rival teams, do you think it's grounds for separation? Ama do you think that is something that makes you feel like, haiwezi work. Kama huyu ni wa Chelsea na mimi ni wa Arsenal, hatuwezi enda mbali. Tell me by going to our platforms at Y254 across all socials. So let me get into it. Let me toss it to Peter because you're the expert. Tell us about, we have so many leagues in Africa, in Europe, we have some in Asia, Saudi Arabia, all these other countries and continents. What is the purpose of, because we have like, ukienda Europe say kuna leagues kama sijui 5, 10, 15.
Yes.
In Africa we also have like site kuna Chan, kuna time kuna AFCON, kuna nini. What is the purpose of having multiple different leagues? Does it serve the same purpose, all of these leagues, ama are they all different? Do they serve different purposes?
I can say they serve the same purpose. At the same time, they are different. Because when you look at the Chan tournament that is ongoing at the moment in Kenya, it's a biannual tournament that is being hosted after every 2 years. Yeah. And basically Chan is all about African players playing at their local leagues. For example, the Kenyan teams, that is Gor Mahia, AFC Leopards, and then we have the likes of Tusker. So these players that are playing at the local teams, they're given an opportunity to compete with other players from outside Kenya, that is in the continent of Africa. And when you look at AFCON, it's a little bit different because it includes even those playing at the top level, that is in Europe. So that is the difference between CHAN and AFCON, yes. Yeah. And of course, we understand CHAN, for the very first time, it is being hosted here in Kenya. Of course, we are co-hosting it with Uganda and Tanzania. And the turnout from the fans has been amazing. It has given us an opportunity of checking out and realizing that Kenya, we have talents. And if we can invest in these talents, we can go maybe probably make a mark in terms of football in the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
Now when I cross the borders and look at Europe, you know, we have the English Premier League. This is where most of us support these teams because ukipatana mtu huko nje umuulize unashabikia timu gani, basically atakwambia either Man U, Arsenal ama Chelsea. Yeah. And then you look at Spain, they have their own league, that is the La Liga. So basically these leagues they are having the same purpose, they are serving the same purpose because unaangalia Uingereza, that is England, the top flight league ni EPL. Then ukiangalia Spain ni La Liga, so the same purpose. And it's a platform for for players to showcase their talent. Yeah. And of course again, it's a form of employment to some of these players because ukiangalia hata Wanyama, there's a time he was playing for Tottenham. And at the moment, when you look at Victor Mugubi Wanyama, tunaweza sema kwamba aliomoka through football, and that is something amazing.
It is. Yes. And I like that you've broken that down. Kwa sababu unajua mimi initially nilikuwa na wonder what's the difference between CHAN na AFCON, as I'm sure so many people are wondering.
Yes.
But umetuambia very clearly kama CHAN ni players watu wenye wanacheza kwa the local teams.
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
in each country.
Yeah.
So if it's Kenya from Tusker FC, Harambee Stars, so mtu mwenye kama Wanyama who's played on the European leagues haezi.
Yes, yes.
But when it comes to AFCON, Wanyama can represent Kenya and other players from the major leagues.
Yes.
Now I like that because it brings a sense of balance, because playing in the European leagues versus playing in the African leagues, the competition is different. Sometimes even the spirit of the training and the things that go into the players, your investment, the time they put in, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Kenya, venye umesema, it started, right now we are picking up. We used to be kukimbia, sindio? Shazi?
Yeah.
Let me just ask because I know let me speak for myself. Mimi sports kidogo ni kitu yenye I have to learn. I have to be intentional. Shazi, do you have any interest in football, sports or anything?
No.
But the people, I assume, because if you have brothers, if you have cousins, friends, boyfriends even, say, wanaume wa maisha yetu ndio wanakuanga watu wa football.
Yeah.
So let me ask. Ukikuwa na mtu una supporting team yake ama saizi kama chali yako sasa yakwambie mimi ni mtu wa Arsenal. So wewe ni mtu wa Arsenal, juu chali yako ni wa Arsenal, or what goes into that? Do you, when you're watching with your partners, maybe your cousins, your family, do you look at a team and say, okay, maybe naweza support hii, maybe not fully, ama you support the team yenye umeambiwa mimi na support hii kwa sababu mtu wangu ana support hii?
I think I'll go with that. Na support Jutu and I watch.
Juice.
Me personally, I'm not a fan of football.
Yeah.
So we will just watch, support, yenye tu yeye ana watch. Ikishinda, imeshinda. Ikishindwa, tunalia wote.
So leo hii season unaweza kuwa na nini ya Chelsea, after 2-3 seasons uko na ya Arsenal. Inategemea. And let's talk about that because when unasema hiyo kulia, kucheka, sports iko na emotions. Peter, watu wana mtu anaweza lilia sijui timu yake ime lose ama sometimes even the watch recently Kenya and Tanzania the games that were playing they were almost the same time alafu ilikuwa qualify to the semi-finals I believe. Sasa Kenya ika lose, our neighbors wakaenda kusema venye sijui tufanye nini
banta. I know.
And then immediately they lost. Wakenya wakaenda kuongelea. So let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about the social interactions that come about because of sports. Do you think zinakuanga ni because sisi ni watu wa, let's focus hata na Europe, let's toa country yetu. Is it because team niko invested sana, Arsenal wali win for 10 years, na hizo 10 years ilikuwa poa kwangu, so hata kama wameshindwa for 7 years bado niko locked in. what goes into that? How do you invest emotionally into a game and a team and decide this is my team, this is the one that nakufa nayo, hii kama ni yangu ni mimi nayo to death?
You know, most of these things inaenda na interest, you know. Hata kwa nyinyi madem kuna vitu zenye mnapenda zenye sisi wanaume hatupendi, you know. So again, influence inakuja from maybe those who are surrounding you. For example, mimi ni shabiki wa Arsenal, and when you look at your hierarchy ya kwetu, my dad ni mtu wa Arsenal, you know. So maybe time nikiwa mtoi, we used to watch, and then hiyo interest ika develop. So because babangu anapenda Arsenal, so pia mimi lazima nifanye nini? Nipende Arsenal. And then another issue ina come in when you have your African players representing those teams. For example, ilifikanga kuna wakati fulani Chelsea ilikuwa inapenda sana African players, the likes of kina Didier Drogba, you know, Anelka. So I think most of these African supporters you're seeing when you support Chelsea, they're supporting Chelsea because kuna wakati Chelsea ilikuwa na African players. The same way na Arsenal pia kuna time ilikuwa na kina Alex Song, you know, kina Kolo Toure, you know, these African players. So unaona, you get that connection. You believe kama we have an African brother kwa hii team, why can't I support him kwa hii team yenyako, you know? And then that is how it happens, you know. Sasa unapata hiyo influence plus na pia unaangalia ni nini inaendelea the moment. Ina kumake unasema now let me stick with Arsenal ama Chelsea ama Man U ama Liverpool. Yes.
So ina depend. Kuna hiyo influence ya mzazi.
Kwanza baba. Yes.
Juu mimi, my dad ni mtu wa Arsenal. Tu brothers wangu wote ni watu wa Arsenal. Kwa hiyo ukikuja ti wewe ni wa timu nyingine. Aje sasa, like ni nini na wewe? So that's something I've always wondered about, because ni kama kunako ka pressure kidogo. Sengine, especially when mtoto mdogo, you really don't know any better, and you don't even know why are we supporting Arsenal ama why are we supporting Man U. I remember when I was a kid, kulikuwa na hii song ya kati ya Man U na Arsenal ni gani kali. So there's always that pressure kidogo ya sengine kuchoose. And even with the Shazi, sengine dem hata utaki story ya football, hata ujui story ya football, but chali yako hapo yeye ni mtu wa Arsenal. Anasema twende to watch game, sijui nini. Unalipiwa ticket na your stadium uende uone game. Do you feel sometimes the pressure to participate socially? Kama unaona competitions kama World Cup, they're usually major. So watu wameenda kwa like bars, watch parties, nini. Una feeling hiyo pressure ya wacha tu nikae ni watch tu football kwa sababu kila mtu ana watch na mtu wangu wako hapa? Do you ever feel that pressure to just support a particular team or just support the game because the people around you are doing the same?
I would say no, but because particularly watching football, it's fun, by the way. Mkiwa nyi wengi, it's fun. But honestly, I don't think I feel any pressure. Au onangi ni kama tisai kila mtu anaenda chan, lazima ni kuwe chan.
Can I interject maybe?
Please.
Unaangalia, for example, nyi mademu usemanga you're not supportive. Kuna vitu unapenda, maybe unapenda kuhike. And me, I don't do that. But you want me ni kusupport. Mbona wewe usini support? That is why tunasemanga kama hujanunua jazi, then you don't deserve to be my woman because you're not supporting me in any way.
Sindio? Na kwa mimi na
jazi lazima, yes.
Na wanaume inakwanga, I think jezi ndio kitu muhimu. I'm a football supporter. And let's talk about that.
Yes.
Kwa sababu pia kuna the revenue enye hizi teams ina capitalize, because hizo jezi zikiuzwa wana make dough. Tickets zikiuzwa they make money. And let me even read some statistics on the big five. The European leagues brought in more than 20.4 billion pounds between the year 2023 and 2024, EU season ya Premier League. And the Premier League alone ili account for 6.3 billion. So factoring in La Liga, all these other leagues, it brought in 20.4 billion. This is $1 billion industry. Ini industry nye, kama Kenya alone, right now, jezi za Kenya venye zimeuzwa, mimi venye nilipatiwa pressure ya kutafuta jezi ya Kenya. You know, producer alikuwa like itabidi umetafuta. There's that goes into it. So home kits, I learned something about siju kuna home kits na away kits na every year zikitoka mtu anatakanga hiyo mpya inunuliwe. So you feel like when a woman invests and pays attention to that, it's because they care, they support you. So kuna hiyo expectation ya at least nibaie jersey. What if your woman does not get football? Alafu yeye kwa akili yake yeye atajui value ya hizi jersey. Alafu yeye hajaifikiria wacha tu nimbaie. What do you think about that? Do you think ni huyu akupendi? Mnafahamu wachane?
Not entirely. Nilisema about kusupport mtu. Maybe mimi na feel vitu zenye napenda kama mfano kuwatch ball au ni support in any way, maybe you are not there for me, like jersey. And mind you, see it, tukisema mtununulie jersey, we basically mean it, you have to buy, you know. Nataka tuone ni effort gani unaweza make in terms of kusupport what I love, maybe what I like doing, you know. Same way na vile nilipeana example hapa, utaniambia mimi napenda kuenda cinema kuwatch a movie, so to tag along because nakupenda and I want to support you and be there for you, I'll have to do what? Lazima to tag along tuende, I be there for you. That is the same thing, I believe that maybe kama you really want to support your man in terms of maybe in regard to ati mwenye anapenda kitu yenye anapenda kufanya, then you have to kumnunulia jersey. But to make it may sound big that maybe mtu ana feel so kama sijamnunulia jersey then I'm not entitled maybe kuitwa mimi mtu wake, you know.
Yeah.
But it should not be like that.
It shouldn't. It's just ni kama mtu ako intentional na
yes,
amesema mimi maybe spendi football but because najua anapenda na
let me do it. Yeah.
Siku hizi kuna hiyo pressure ya kama ununui kwanza girlfriend's day nilisikia men were saying ati before ununue vitu girlfriend's day amenunua jersey and there's that Shazi, how many jerseys have you bought in your life? How many have you had to buy? None. Hujainunua na mtu wako hajai complain ama none of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So ina depend.
Yeah, to me I think it depends. Juu hata anajua aspendi football.
Yeah.
But namwambianga time will come. Maybe nitafikiria ninunue.
I saw a funny thing some time back. Mtu dem fulani alikuwa amepost akisema ati mimi nishapata plug wa majezi zile cheap. So unaona za Kenya zile knockoff. I think sijui za 300 or something. Ati huyu sasa mtu wangu nitakuwa na surprise ati kila time nanunua tu namnunulia anajua tu nampenda. So there's that. Sometimes people will kwa Kenya particularly, the jerseys are very expensive for you to get an original proper quality one.
Umenikumbusha kuna time hapa before tucheze na Madagascar. Tulikuwa tunataka kwenda nini Kasarani. So policy ilikuwa you have to find jersey Harambee Stars because you can't be supporting Harambee Stars na umeenda na Man U ama Arsenal. Aje tulizunguka hii town na hatukupata jersey because they were booked. Unaenda huko unapata ziko lakini wakakwambia hizi mtu amelipia. So inakuonesha umuhimu wa hiyo nini hiyo jersey. So so important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Na unajua bado hiyo ndio kitu yenye mimi nimenotice. Unaweza pata mwanaume ako na jersey kama hata 50. Na hiyo hata trouser maybe ni 5.
Moja ya black.
Moja.
You know, kuna hizo priorities za jersey over other things and especially in Kenya because I think different cultures wanakuanga na different interests sana. In Kenya particularly football ni iko na passion mob. Unfortunately saa ingine inakuja na some vices kama gambling, you know, ameilenye the extreme situations zenye mtu ako timu yake yako ati nime lose then they do something like take their lives, they fight. We've seen those negative implications of sports. What drives people to that extent? Because unaona kama I think it's called being a fanatic.
Yeah.
Kuna kukua fan and then being a fanatic ile nye umeenda overboard. What do you think drives people to those extreme extents enye ako die hard kabisa instead of evaluating aseme maybe season hatuja perform poa, next season we can do better. Why is that?
I think the connection, you know, football ni emotions vile umesema and I believe if you are maybe connected to a certain thing then emotionally pia unakuwa connected. So at the moment hata ukiangalia the other day ilikuwa ni jana Manchester United ilipigwa na Grimsby Town, team inacheza kwa fourth division ya kule England. And at the moment mashabiki wa Manchester United wamekasirika because they feel United are play to their levels. So that is the same thing ina happen. Ni kitu na connection, like you feel so connected like na hiyo team such that waki underperform, you feel this is not where we should be. Tunafaa tukue this level, but performance inakataa kukuja. So ni connection. Ni
mtu ameka emotions mob sana.
Una invest yes emotions. Maybe mwingine unapata ya Manchester United ama Arsenal is the only thing anafanyanga like
you know pastime.
Yes.
Na bedhe wanaume wakwangina vitu mob za kufanya. So it's usually sports, especially if you're not working, it's like football, sports, hang out na my boys. So kuna watu wenye that's their whole life. Shazi, manzo wako akuje sasa amekunja uso kwa sababu Arsenal imelose. Do you feel sengine unaonanga wacha nifuate game nionelewa atakuja na mood gani? ama how do you react? Like amekuja amenuna, hata ongei, ati si tumelose sijui nini. Ushai experience situation kama hizo?
Yeah, many times by the way.
Yeah.
Me what I do, mi namwachanga tu, like I leave him alone. Because wanakujanga na, like they always get upset, like wana jump tu sana. Napata na kutoa stress na wewe. Like hapo sasa ndio anaanza kuona makosa yako.
Sasa hiyo hata food si tamu, hii nyumba hata washi vizuri, sijui hata nini. Football.
Football.
There's a lot of passions that go into it, and I really want us to understand the sports and the social implications. So nikirudi, I want us to talk about the friendships, the unity that inakwanga formed, the culture of football. So stay tuned for that. Go to our platforms meanwhile, uniambie at Y254, what team do you support? For the European leagues, which one do you support? Gani ni yako? Which one are you looking out for and rooting for currently? And mtu wako kama yeye ni wa rival team, do you think that's grounds for you to break up with them? Ama mnaka pamoja and you have a healthy competition going on at home? Go to our platforms at Y254 and stay tuned. We're coming back right after this break.